big news which is coming in. And now we're going to focus now on the war in West Asia, because in the backdrop of that, obviously, we have the political fallout in India. The war in West Asia has entered day 15. The conflict has reached one of Iran's most crucial energy hub, Kharg Island. Now, United States has launched key strikes on this island. An attack that Tehran has warned would make an escalation. This is a marking of an escalation of the conflict, says Iran. About 90%, remember, of countries, that is Iran's oil exports, are moving through this particular facilities, the facilities which are located on the Kharg Island. For now, oil terminals, now reports say, as Trump also is claiming, have been spared. But military infra, that seems to have been hit. US President Donald Trump has made a big claim. He claims that the strikes, and he basically says that American forces have targeted military sites on this particular island, Iran's main oil export terminal in the Persian Gulf. Trump basically claiming that all military targets have been destroyed, but he also issued a warning if Iran disrupts shipping through the Strait of Hormuz on the infrastructure. Now that oil depots, the oil refineries, there could be next. And why does the strike matter so much, viewers? Because the target is not just any particular island. It is the United States that has hit the Kharg Island, the heart of Iran's oil exports, and an island that handles a bulk of Iran's crude shipments and plays a key role in global energy supply, sitting close to the strategic Strait of Hormuz. This strike basically sends a loud message in a war that is now entering its 15th day. So that is what it is, why this particular island matters. It's Iran's oil lifeline. It's called Iran's crown jewel, accounts for 90% of the crude exports, handles about 2% of the global oil supply as well. So when it comes to this particular island, you know, take a look at this map also of the Kharg Island. It basically shows the oil terminals on the key island. This is an island which is widely seen as economic backbone of Iran's oil industry. Its facilities serve as the nervous system, nerve center of Iran's energy security sector, handling the bulk of the country's crude export. The terminal receives oil from 3 major offshore fields, and those obviously are the fields which is where crude is moved through the subsea pipelines, onshore processing facilities where it is stored and loaded onto tankers and shipments. Today, that oil infra is safe. Trump, though, says that if Strait of Hormuz remains to be closed, they could attack that as well. The deadly US strike, that's something which we will be talking about. Now, what's happening is that world is also bracing for the ripple effects which are possibly going to happen when it comes to the Iran war. Is it a turning point in the Iran war? Many are calling it that. It is obviously a major escalation because it's Iran's oil nerve center. We talked about the significance of the same, but Trump is warning if Strait of Hormuz remains closed, then the oil facilities could be next. Could we see a bigger escalation? And what happens if oil facilities are hit there in this particular island, because it's handling about 2% of the global crude oil as well? Could it worsen, escalate the situation? Well, all of that obviously remains to be seen. This is obviously a turning point when it comes to the Iran war. Again, what does this mean? What's happening on the ground? To give us a better perspective, we are being joined by my colleague Mayank. He's joining us from Tel Aviv. Mayank, over to you. We are talking about obviously the deadly strikes which have happened when it comes to the Kharg Island. But you're there in Tel Aviv. Tell us what's happening there on ground. Are you still hearing, missile attacks? What are you seeing on the ground? Give us a ground report.
See, we are at the coast of Mediterranean Sea, and the sky is overcast. There's a warmth in the environment. But coming back to the attacks and all, it was in the night that we heard lots of loud thunders, and those thunders, they were sending tremors all around. But the point is actually, except for 2-3 places wherein the visuals came out, because we could not move in the night, and there are holidays going on here, weekly holidays. So we could hear the thunders. There were lots of visuals coming out. The other point was that at every period of time, there is an emergency siren which blows up, and which gives a hint of it that there is a projectile which is approaching the country, so people should run away to the safe areas, and which are all, it's a part of the standard operating procedure. So it is happening there. And meanwhile, there are lots of air defense equipments which are working, and you can see a streak of fire, which is at times in the air, and then suddenly there's a loud thunder, and the projectile is brought down. That's happening all around here. And yesterday, almost 4 or 5 times this happened. So it is getting repeated, and there is a counter approach. There is a missile projectile which comes and then it is countered continuously. So that process is on.
All right, and do stay with us. We will come back to you, obviously, for an overall and holistic view of what's happening on the ground in Israel as well, because tensions obviously are escalating. Srinjoy is joining us live on the broadcast as well. Srinjoy, talk us through, the latest attack, obviously the significance of these islands. And right now, Trump says that they have spared, obviously, when it comes to the oil hub, it's only the military targets which have been hit. But what does this attack mean for the world? And obviously, coming in the backdrop of the oil crisis, the global markets being rattled.
First of all, Kharg Island is particularly important as strategically significant for Iran. 90% of its exports of crude oil go out of Kharg Island. Kharg Island also has a very strong presence of the Revolutionary Guards. Now, President Trump says that he has not hit the oil infrastructure, the oil tanks, the pipelines, and so on. But has hit the Revolutionary Guards encampments. He is threatening Iran. He is saying, if you close down the Straits of Hormuz, if it continues to stay closed, then we will hit Kharg Island, and Kharg Island's oil tanks and Kharg Island's pipelines. Now that's a big threat. Now how Iran deals with it, because according to the Americans, the Iranians have lost their Air Force, their Navy, and their air defense. So how the Iran deals with it, with drones and with ballistic missiles, remains to be seen. But that's the next big one. The big warning that Trump has come from Trump, saying, look, keep the Straits of Hormuz open, otherwise we'll hit Kharg Island.